Miss Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make homemade frosting. A few weeks ago we learned how to make homemade sugar cookies, and I thought it would be nice to learn how to make frosting right at home, and it only uses a few ingredients. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here. Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you need are 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, 1.5 tablespoons of softened butter, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1.5 teaspoons of milk. The supplies you need are a mixing bowl, a mixing spoon, 1/4 cup dry measuring cup, 1 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon, a butter knife, and a liquid measuring cup. My hands are clean and your hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making our homemade frosting. When I tell you this is super simple and you're never gonna wanna buy frosting from the store again, I'm right. So let's get started. The very first thing we need is softened butter. In our ingredient list, we talked about needing 1.5 tablespoons of softened butter. So my butter stays in the fridge. It's not soft, so we need to melt it a little bit in the microwave. So grab your liquid measuring cup and your butter. Now most people are gonna use a stick of butter, so that's what we're gonna talk about doing today. We need to cut 1.5 tablespoons off. So we've talked about it in the past on different episodes, but most butter will have little lines on it indicating a tablespoon. So we need 1 full line and then half of another one. 1.5 tablespoons is what we're trying to get. So you just wanna cut it off, and then I have to take the wrapper off mine, and then we'll pop it in the liquid measuring cup. Now, if you have a tub of butter and you wanted to use that type of butter, that's fine. You would just take a tablespoon and 1/2 tablespoon and scoop out 1.5 tablespoons. So you have some options. But I need to take my wrapper off now. Don't wanna microwave that. That would not taste good in our frosting. Okay, and then just pop it in, however you got your butter out, pop it in your liquid measuring cup, and now we need to soften it. So I'm just gonna put mine in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then we'll get to come back, pour it in our bowl, and we'll keep making our frosting. So 30 seconds in the microwave to melt it. All right, friends, so 30 seconds in the microwave made my butter pretty melted, which is perfect because that's what we want. It needs to at least be soft or melted so that we can work with it and mix it. Grab your mixing bowl that we talked about and whatever spoon you're gonna use for mixing. So it could be just like a regular spoon that we've used in the past, or kind of like a rubber spatula that I have here, just something that we're gonna mix this frosting together with. Take your butter that's in your liquid measuring cup and just pour it straight into your bowl. And you can kind of use your spoon too to scrape it out a little bit. You want to get as much as possible. And then you can set your liquid measuring cup to the side because we are done with that. It was just used as something to melt our butter in. Now we need 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. So grab your powdered sugar, put it next to you, and then this is where we're actually going to use 1/4 cup. We talked about it in our supply list. It's the one that says 1/4, kind of the smaller cup. We need 3/4 cup total, so I'm gonna do 3 of these, if that makes sense, because this is 1/4, we need 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. Okay, so gotta do this 3 times. So here's 1, 2, we need 1 more for 3/4. and 3. Okay, you can put this to the side, your measuring cup. We won't use that again. Same with the powdered sugar. You can set that to the side, get it out of your way. Now we need our vanilla extract. So grab your vanilla extract, set it next to you, and your half a teaspoon. Now yours is probably in a bottle, mine's in a little bowl just to make it easier to see, but we need to scoop out a half a teaspoon. So it's gonna be 1/TSP, it's the smaller one. And you need half a teaspoon of vanilla extract and put it right in your bowl. Okay, and then keep your teaspoon close to you because we're gonna use it in just a second. So you can put your vanilla extract away. Now grab your milk and your tablespoon. We need 1.5 tablespoons of milk. So I have 1 tablespoon, teaspoons. 1.5 teaspoons. So 1 teaspoon and half a teaspoon. We need to fill each of these up. Not a lot of milk, and I'm actually using almond milk. So if you don't use regular milk, you could do almond milk. I've tried it with regular milk and almond milk, so it doesn't really change the flavor or the recipe. So if you don't drink milk at your house and you want to use almond milk, that's what I'm using. So that was 1 teaspoon. And now I need half a teaspoon. So we're gonna it's the same one we used for the vanilla extract. Now I'm just gonna carefully fill it up. And if you don't feel super confident pouring it right over the bowl, because it is such a small little thing that we're pouring it into, you can always just pour it over your liquid measuring cup and then dump it in. You just don't wanna get too much milk. All right, you can set your milk to the side, and now we just need to stir it. So this is kind of the whole recipe right here in this bowl. And you have to trust that it's gonna come together and look like frosting. We just have to be patient and really stir this. And the more we stir it, I promise you it will come together and look like frosting. But that's it, we just had those ingredients. And you kind of want to go slow because you can kind of see if you go too fast, your powdered sugar will go everywhere because it's powdered, it's very light. If you stir it like crazy, it is gonna go everywhere. All right, so as we continue to stir, it's coming together and it looks like frosting. So excited. And I promise you, like I said, I think it tastes better than what you can buy at a store. Obviously this is just vanilla frosting because we had a vanilla flavor in there. So it's not gonna make this exact recipe, isn't gonna make chocolate frosting, but this is homemade vanilla frosting. And as you can see, kind of set this to the side. That's it. That's the whole recipe. And now we have this smaller serving of vanilla frosting that we made at home for any time that you kind of get that craving. I'm actually going to put it on a graham cracker real quick. If you've never had just frosting spread on a graham cracker, you're missing out because it's simple, but it's actually a really good treat. So I'm just gonna take the same butter knife that we used to cut our butter, and you kind of just spread it on, and it just makes like a really simple treat too. So, but it's your kitchen, your frosting. You can choose to put this on whatever you feel would taste good. But there we have it, just a couple ingredients and really not a lot of time at all. We're now able to make frosting at home. So I do hope you try and make this or try and make it again. And like I always say, when you do, let me know how it goes. I love getting to hear from you. So leave me a comment, let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of how your frosting turned out and what you decided to top it on, and maybe we'll get to share it on next week's episode. You can send it to me on my email, which is on my YouTube channel. But speaking of next week though, on next week's episode, which is episode 23, we are learning how to make easy cheesy nachos. Yum. These nachos, believe it or not, only have 2 ingredients, and when we follow just a couple quick, simple steps, they turn out in the oven just perfectly crispy and cheesy, and they just taste good. In order to cook along and make these easy cheesy nachos next week, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen. 2 cups of tortilla chips and half a cup of shredded cheese. All right, friends, real quick too, I wanna mention, if you don't happen to use all of your frosting and eat it at once, you can put it in a container with a lid and just pop it in the refrigerator for a day or two. That way it stays good for whenever you are wanting to make or have this as a little treat. So I do hope you enjoyed making this homemade frosting. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, like I always say, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends.